Hey guys, Sean Bougie, surplusfundsriches.net. It is time for some truth about the surplus funds recovery business. I've been taking a look at what my competitors, other trainers are saying about surplus funds recovery, and I have to set the record straight. First, there are folks out there trying to do the us versus them sales technique, where they tell you that in mortgage overages, the banks are greedy and not telling ex-owners about the surplus funds, not trying to return the money. That would make sense if the banks were allowed to keep the surplus funds, the overages. They can't keep the money, guys. Yes, they do, in most cases, a horrible job of trying to contact the ex-owner about the money held, but they can't keep the money. So no, there isn't some evil cabal of banks that are trying to screw ex-owners. That's a lie perpetuated by folks who are trying to get you to buy into this Illuminati type conspiracy theory. If they're lying about that, they're lying about a lot more than that. Keep watching. I'm going to expose the lies. Now, with tax overages, surplus funds, the counties do such a horrible job of telling ex-owners from tax foreclosure sales that it does make you wonder. But it's not usually the counties that benefit. It's usually the states that end up with the money. So yes, I question the motives of the states and how they tell the counties to try to return the money. Through the state, the counties could have access to birth records, death certificates, marriage licenses, voting records, driver's licenses, pistol permits, hunting and fishing licenses, tickets, and even banking information for folks. So they have no excuse for not contacting ex-owners. If we had access to all that information, we'd find everybody. Now let's move on to the folks out there saying that the business is ridiculously easy. You get a list, often online, true, and just call the folks on that list. You keep the source of the funds from them, don't tell them, until they sign your contingency agreement, and that's how you do it. Well, first off, particularly in tax foreclosures, the name on that list may not be the last owner, the one entitled to the surplus funds. The county is foreclosing on the property to recoup unpaid taxes, not technically the owner, so they don't have to do a good job at checking property transfers before the sale, and they just list the last name on the tax office's records, often not updated. And no, you can't find their number, the claimants, on free info sites. You have to use a solid people finder system, and that costs money. Secondly, if there was additional debt, equity lines, mortgages, liens, that debt has a priority claim to the funds in front of the ex-owner. They don't tell you you have to check debt because they just want you to buy their program and think it doesn't require any work. You do need to check debt or you'll chase deals that can't pay out. Now let's talk about this keep them in the dark method of putting deals together. This breeds distrust. And guys, you sound like you're telling them they had a rich Saudi great uncle that passed away and left them money. You're not going to get a call back when you reach out like that. We tell them what created the funds and how we bring value to the table. We use attorneys and even give them good faith money up front, money when they sign the contract, and more, of course, when they retrieve the funds. We retrieve the funds. This, along with having an attorney, creates value and trust. I understand you might not have the funds for the People Finder system, the mailings. Yes, you need to mail as well as call, and no, texting doesn't work. Also, the notary cost and the good faith funds or the attorney cost. That's where we come in. Your job is to get a list and research the debt, turn that into us on our worksheet, and we take it from there. We find them, call and mail them, negotiate, hire the attorney and notary, and pay you a handsome commission. That's the final lie I want to expose. One or two other trainers say that they partner like we do, but their partnership requires you to get the list, just like us, or use one they give out to hundreds of people and are worthless as a result, by the way. And you have to find them, call them, get them under contract. They just process the paperwork and often pay you less than we do with you doing more work. If you're serious about getting started in this business, I encourage you to check us out at surplusfundsriches.net. Watch the free 1-hour video that shows you how to work surplus funds step by step, and go to the products page, programs page. Our partnership programs are available for as little as $397 for the National Surplus Funds Partnership Program. We sell programs once a month for a day or two because we limit the amount of people that can come on as partners with us. The next sale is coming up February 6th and 7th. Guys, surplusfundsriches.net. Get trained, partner up, get paid. Thanks.